Today we're going to talk about the very best armour for strength and agility builds in every weight class. Let's get to it. I've been running around in the Age of War with a max agility, max grit build and doing a lot of damage. I can switch out the agility points for strength and change my weapons and armour to suit. Because I've been doing so much damage and I don't have a lot of points on authority, I just have the first perk to help me knock out enemies and to give my thrall a little bit of damage. I just need a tanky thrall who can take aggro while I slay enemies, and I don't need to worry about them dying. Aina here has 12,000 health, but I have another named bearer with 9,000 health who leveled better in damage. Named bearers can take a while to find, so in the meantime you can use tier 3s who are much more abundant, who get loads of health but have slightly lower damage modifier at 0.4 compared to the named bearer's 0.5. If you prefer a thrall who does the most damage possible, you can check out my God tier thralls video, which I'll link in the description. Most good fighter thralls start with points in strength and will gain more as they level. Relic Hunter Treasure Seekers come out of the box with points in agility, and those thralls will be best as archers around your base, in my opinion. You'll want to put them in agility armour to give them the most damage, and the best bows you can make or find in legendary chests. You could give them agility melee weapons, but they don't have the best health, and you're going to have the best results with a strength thrall and a mace. Thralls will do the most combos and be interrupted less using a mace because of the hyper armour that comes with that type of weapon. And the best mace at the moment seems to be Momentum, which you can get from World Boss legendary chests. The focus of this video is to find the best armour to buff damage for either agility or strength for you or your fighters, and I'll show you the light, medium and heavy versions. Let's take a look. So I put together the best damage buffing armour in light, medium and heavy, agility and strength armours. I'll always try and give you base game armours so that you don't have to go buy a DLC. So the best light agility armour is the Black Corsair, which give you 8% per piece. If you want to wear the full set, I do suggest you craft it with a shield right armourer. I can do a follow-up video talking about where to get these armourers, and to use a bulk plating on each of them to add more, because they don't give you a lot of armour value. You can trade these pants, these Black Corsair tassets, for the Silent Legion tasset, which you learn from completing the Black Keep dungeon, and that will give you a lot more armour. 113 instead of 69. Both crafted with shield rights, both with the bolt placing. You can always transmog these pants back onto your character if you want this appearance. And that applies for all of these looks. You don't need any mods to transmog in the game anymore. You can learn sorcery and then make a thaumaturgy bench, and then you can transmog items as long as they're full durability. So if you want a light armour, this one will give you the most amount of damage possible for an agility build. This is what it looks like on the male. With no additional points in grit, which will add armour to your character. This armour gives you 303 and is in the light class. If you change the pants for the Silent Legion tasset, that'll go up to 347. The best armour I found for agility in the medium weight class was this Ranger armour. Each gives, again, 8% agility weapon damage. This is again crafted with a shield right and has the bulk plating on it. You can trade the chest piece for the Silent Legion medium pauldron, and that will give you substantially more armour. The Silent Legion medium pauldron gives you 303 armour compared to the Ranger 87. The Ranger armour also gives you +7 in stamina for each piece. This is what it looks like on the male characters. I couldn't find any heavy agility armour that gave 8% agility weapon damage, so the best I could come up with is the Stygian soldier armour. You can craft it with a shield right, but I do suggest you put armour reduction kits on any heavy armour. The armour value will vary depending on the grit and armour bonus of the thrall you put it on, or for you, and you can actually increase the armour value by swapping out the Stygian soldier tasset for the Godbreaker leggings. The tasset has 330 armour, and the Godbreaker leggings, whilst they don't give you any more damage, they will give you a lot more armour at 461. It is expensive to craft, and you need to learn the recipe from the Warmaker dungeon, but I'll show you any of the recipes at the end of the video. With no points in grit, this will give your character 1,321 heavy armour, and if you swap for the Godbreaker leggings, it'll give you 1,452 armour. This is what it looks like on the male character. Okay, let's talk about armour that buffs strength damage. So I couldn't find a full set that buffed 8% strength damage in the light category, but the Silent Legion light pauldron does give 8% strength weapon damage. You can combine that with the Darfari set, which gives 5%, or you can use the Mariner from the Argosian set, which has exactly the same stats. With no points in grit, this armour will give you 365 light armour. Or the full set of Mariner or Darfari without the Silent Legion pauldron will give you just 303. This is what it looks like on the male. In the medium category for strength damage, I couldn't find a full set of medium strength buffing armour outside of a DLC, but I could find the Voidforged Dragonbone tunic, which gives 303 armour and 8% strength weapon damage, and then the Silent Legion medium gauntlets, which give 105 armour and 8% strength weapon damage, with a shield right and bulk plating. To get the most damage, you can use either the Veneer Shaman, helm, leggings and boots. These are currently in the Bazaar and they were given to me by Funcom. Or you can use the Turanian Mercenary to get the same stats. This is from the Turanian DLC. If you like to switch between strength and agility builds, the Veneer Shaman gives both agility damage and strength weapon damage. This is how the armour looks with the Turanian set and the Voidforged Dragonbone tunic. With no points in grit, this armour gives you 817 and is medium. And this is what it looks like on the male. Here's the male in the Turanian version. And finally, the heavy strength set. This is the best I could come up with for heavy armour buffing strength. I've gone for the Redeemed Legion helmet, Voidforged Dragon ribs, Silent Legion medium gauntlets, Champion's leggings, and Pictish Warchief boots. The helmet gives 8% strength weapon damage, the chest gives 8%, the gauntlets 8%, and the champion leggings 5%. The Pictish Warchief boots, which are a DLC item, can be traded for the Hyperborean Slaver for the same stats, and every single item has been crafted with a shield right and has bulked plating on it. If I was going to wear this myself, I would use an armour reduction kit to reduce the weight. I've used the Silent Legion medium gauntlets here, which obviously aren't heavy, but I've opted for these because they do give 8% strength weapon damage. You could trade these for a heavier item, but you're already up to a huge amount of armour value. This set gives 1,613 armour. When you spend more points in grit, this will go up. And this is what it looks like on the male character. The Silent Legion chest piece looks a little bit nicer, so you could use that instead. It gives 534 armour value, and the dragon ribs give 580. The benefit of the Redeemed Legion is that it will give you a large amount of heat and cold protection, as will the champion leggings. So that's a big bonus for the volcano or for the coldest places on the map. So hopefully that's helped you decide on the armour. I will talk about the locations for the recipes in a moment. What about strength buffs and agility buffs to help you to do the most damage in the game? Let's talk about damage boosts for agility builds. Salted Exquisite meat will give you a 15% agility weapon damage boost, or you could opt for cooked grouper. Then you can craft the Elixir of Grace, and that'll also give you 15% agility weapon damage. Let's talk about strength damage buffs. You won't get a 25% strength damage buff from cooked pork rinds, but your thrall will. If you transfer a stack of pork into their inventory, they will take one, and they'll receive a 25% strength weapon damage. For players, you could eat Exotic Feast, which will give you 15% strength weapon damage for 2 hours. And for both you and your thrall, you can drink a Black Lotus potion. Now I'm going to show you where to find the recipes for these armour pieces and these buffs. The Black Corsair set. The Black Corsair armour is learnt at Buccaneer Bay in N7. You just run over to this book and click, and you'll learn Black Corsair garb. All the Silent Legion armours. The entrance to the Black Keep is in F12. After you've defeated the Kinscourge, you can click on this tablet behind him to learn all the Silent Legion armours and weapons. You used to have to click on 5 tablets, but it's just 1 now. The Ranger armour. The recipe for the Ranger armour is learnt by completing the Dungeon Delver journey. Godbreaker armour and Champion armour. You can learn the recipes for the Godbreaker armour and the Champion armour by completing the Warmaker dungeon. The entrance is in B8. The Arena armour is learnt by clicking on this tablet. You can fight the Warmaker, or you could just run past him and click on these 2 tablets as you leave. To craft the armour, you will need armour scraps dropped by the Warmaker and the Arena Champion. The Voidforged Dragonbone tunic and the Voidforged Dragon ribs. The recipe for the Dragonbone armours are learnt from the tablet in the sinkhole. The recipes are behind the dragon. All the other armour recipes are base game or DLC. Salted Exquisite meat. The recipe for Salted Exquisite meat is part of Specialist Cooking 4. You learn it by clicking on this book in this mound at Mounds of the Dead in B11. Cooked grouper. To make cooked grouper, you need to learn improved fish traps from the Dagon dungeon. I have a full guide to that dungeon, which will be in the description below. But you can access the dungeon through this boat here on the map, in 06. Just click on the boat and it'll take you there. You don't need a recipe for cooked pork rinds, you just need to harvest pork using a cleaver from boars. This is a great place to find boars. Exotic Feast. You don't have to go anywhere to learn Exotic Feast. Once you learn the stove, you'll learn how to make that. Elixir of Grace and the Black Lotus Potion are both crafted in the Alchemist Bench. Black Lotus flowers are harvested in the Black Garden in N5. But be careful, make sure you bring a sandstorm mask, or be quick, because there's poisonous gas in here. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you'd like to see a video about the best weapons. Have I missed out your favourite armour? Let me know in the comments. You can catch me live streaming my Age of War playthrough at twitch.tv/AnnaBriella.